Hello and welcome to another Every Tuesday video. In last week's video, I shared my own personal graphic design story, and I also promised a free tips and advice series about creating your portfolio. So this week is week number 1, and in this week's video, we're going to go over selecting artwork for your portfolio. And it might seem like a no-brainer just choosing your best artwork and putting it in your portfolio, but your portfolio really comes down to the work that you're most proud of and the work that you're capable of performing, as well as the type of work that you would like to pursue in the future. So it may not seem like a really big deal, but when you're sitting with a potential employer, that's the impression that they're going to have when they're looking through your portfolio. So in this week's video, I want to go through some tips that I've learned over the years of the best ways to choose artwork for your portfolio so you're seen in the best light, you have the best potential to obtain interviews and perform strongly in those interviews. So hopping right in, graphic design in a traditional college environment, you take required classes and then you have the option to choose some electives. And those electives are different graphic design disciplines, so you can kind of vary your portfolio to show that you're a very well-rounded graphic designer, which is very important. And some of those classes and electives might look like this. Corporate identity, that is designing logos and systems and stationery and everything that goes along with a brand for large and small businesses. Environmental design, these are billboards, anything outdoors, things that you experience when you walk through them. If you're in an outdoor shopping mall, it could be signs on light poles, the branding on buildings, the general experience that you feel when you're walking through an environment. Package design, kind of no-brainer. It's the package that contains your everyday products and the design that you create to go on the outside of it to advertise and give a general impression of what that product is all about. Publication design, this would be newspapers, magazines, anything with a strong layout with both image and text. So information design is anything that's kind of designed where some kind of information is being portrayed in a visual manner. So if you have a chart that's designed that shows different makes or models of vehicles and maybe their CO2 output and its effect on the environment, that would be information design. And finally, web design. I'm sure you're very familiar with that. Not necessarily the programming side of web design, but the general experience, look, and feel that a user has when online at a different website. So taking all these into consideration, one of the last classes that you'll take in a traditional college is a portfolio class. And in that portfolio class, you will be tasked with looking through all the classes that you took with the different types of disciplines within graphic design, choosing your best projects from those classes, and putting them all into a portfolio to show that you're well-rounded. So while this is advantageous for a college to show that they're producing students that are capable of all the different disciplines for graphic design, you personally can come across as a jack of all trades, but maybe a master of none. And we don't want that because your portfolio is an opportunity to show off where your strengths and specialties lie. And by just putting everything on an even playing field, you're not able to stand out maybe as much as you could. So a portfolio is your greatest tool to provide a first impression of the work that you currently create. It also gives an insight into your strengths and your specialties as a designer, and it also allows a potential employer to envision your work within their company. So with all of this in mind, how about a new approach? While you are a well-rounded designer, let's say that your strongest area of design was package design. In the class or just on your own, if you're self-taught, you kind of feel like you always had a knack for package design, and it's an area of design that you feel you can stand out amongst the crowd. So obviously, you'd be looking for a job posting for a graphic designer with a focus on packaging because you know that you'd perform better in that kind of interview than maybe an editorial or publication design interview. So you look for job postings and you come across one and you know that this could be the perfect fit. But when you look at your portfolio, you just have that one project that was your best project from your packaging class. And it makes you feel a little uncomfortable if that's all you have to show and you know that you're meant to do packaging, but maybe your portfolio isn't portraying that. So let's reimagine your portfolio with this in mind. Instead of this portfolio where it's a collection of best projects from all of your classes, Let's start adding another package design project, and maybe your environmental design project was your weakest project out of all of your portfolio. So let's remove that one and replace it with a package design project. So here's what happened. The portfolio now represents a designer with a strength in packaging. It's undeniable because you have 3 examples now instead of 1. The portfolio still represents a designer who is well-rounded, which is very important. Even though we removed the environmental design, we still have corporate identity, publication design, information design, and web design. So you'll still come across as a well-rounded designer. Since environmental design was removed since it was the weakest project, it makes the rest of your portfolio stronger. So as an alternative, say you don't have another package design project that you feel confident in, or it's not completely finished. As an alternative, if you don't have an extra packaging project, you can incorporate a packaging aspect to your other projects. So say with corporate identity, maybe you've designed a stationery system and t-shirts, and maybe the t-shirts come in a special package. So that's something that you can just add to that project that shows that you are a skilled package designer. With publication design, maybe you created a magazine and it comes in a special package to the recipients. There are little tricky ways that you can start injecting your package design expertise throughout your portfolio without just focusing it on individual projects. So having a portfolio that is tailored to your strengths and your specialties, but still displaying your capabilities as a well-rounded designer, which is very important, will set you up best to obtain interviews and perform strongly in those interviews. So this is just one part of the portfolio formula, which is included in Full-Time Graphic Design, my new ebook coming later this month. And if you visit fulltimegraphicdesign.com, you can be put on a list to be notified exactly when the ebook is available. So coming next week with this free tips and advice series, we'll go over formatting your portfolio projects, how many portfolio projects are too many or not enough, and how to order your portfolio projects, which may not seem very important, but it is very important because it's going to be the experience of the interviewer as they look through your work. So we'll go over all of that next week, and you can, in the meantime, pick up your free portfolio project checklist over at fulltimegraphicdesign.com. And if you enjoy videos like this, be sure to subscribe because I will see you next week for this next video in this free tips and advice portfolio series.